welcome to Prudent Media News. The top stories this hour. In a landmark judgment, High Court sets aside appointment of 2 parliamentary secretaries. Fairy tale of Churchill Alemau's 3 bridges, a Prudent Media special. MPT not to shift Kharivado jetty to Chikli, instead plans of a modernized jetty at Vade. Revelation of Congress candidate for Lok Sabha by first week of February. And GFA to decide fate of Wilred SAI under 18 final. Now the news in detail. Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, Justice Swatantra Kumar and N.A. Brito pronounced the verdict on the public interest litigation filed by Advocate Iris Rodrigues against the appointment of parliamentary secretaries. The court set aside the appointments of the 2 parliamentary secretaries, Neelkanth Halankar and Francis Silvera.
The Bombay High Court at Goa has set aside the appointments of Thivim MLA Neelkanth Halankar and St. Andre MLA Francis Silvera as the parliamentary secretaries. Further, on the request of Advocate General Subodh Kantak, the court granted a stay order for 4 weeks on the verdict in order to enable government to appeal in the Supreme Court.
The Chief Justice of Bombay High Court, Justice Swatantra Kumar and Justice N.A. Brito have pronounced the judgment on that public interest litigation today. The court has held that the appointments of Mr. Neelkanth Halankar and Francis Silvera as parliamentary secretaries was totally unconstitutional, unwarranted and in violation of law.
Advocate General Subodh Kantak informed that further decision will be taken only after receiving and analyzing the judgment copies.
It will be pronounced today, so we will obtain the copy of the judgment, analyze it and thereafter take a decision. The High Court has been pleased to stay the judgment for 4 weeks.
Opposition leader Manohar Parrikar, reacting on the historical verdict, said that government should respect High Court decision and should not appeal in the Supreme Court.
I appreciate the decision and hope that government will understand the importance of the decision. Instead of going to Supreme Court, they should honor the judgment of the High Court.
Prudent Media Hadir Panjeja and Sunny Narvekar.
PWD Minister Churchill Alemau is in a great mood to build bridges. In spite of 3 existing bridges on River Sal, Churchill wants to build 3 more. Then what if there is wastage of public money and destruction of ecology? Prudent Media brings to you Fairy Tale of Churchill's 3 bridges.
Government is planning to build 3 new bridges on River Sal. One joining Kavelosi and Asolna, second joining Varka and Talauli, and third connecting Benauli and Shinketi. The big question is, why government and Churchill Alemau wants to construct 3 new bridges when there is no actual public utility of them? This step of government is resulting in hazards. 1. Wastage of money. 2. Wastage of private and comunidad land. 3. Damage of agricultural land. 4. Destruction of mangroves. 5. Destruction of water bodies. It was earlier decided that GSIDC will build these bridges. But in December 2007, PWD revoked the contract from GSIDC and decided to build these bridges on their own. The question is why? We took Kavelosi Asolna bridge as a case study and tried to find out the truth. In the initial plan of this bridge, land requirement was 6,085 square meters. Later, PWD changed the plan and mentioned land requirement of 69,584 square meters, which is 10 times more than the area proposed in earlier plan. Interestingly, this plan damages many agricultural land. More interestingly, width of the road proposed is between 15 to 45 meters. Resident of Asolna village, Lida João, expressed her grief over such a plan of the PWD department.
I am opposing these bridges primarily because first and foremost, we already have 3 bridges existing on the River Sal, which is supposed to be one of the smallest rivers in Goa. And another 3 now are proposed to be constructed. So we will have totally 6 bridges, which is something which is unheard of. This Asolna Kavalosi proposal that is mooted for the approach roads is going to affect basically the fertile agricultural lands between Ambeli and Asolna village. It is also going to affect the augurs that are situated therein. It is also affect the bridge, especially is going to affect the mangroves that exist in that area.
The estimated cost of the bridge is revised 3 times till now. First, it was only rupees 3.25 crores in December 2007. Then it was revised and estimated at rupees 19.18 crores in January 2008. And third time in August 2008, they revised the proposal for estimated cost of rupees 26 crores. Question is, what forced PWD department to revise the estimate thrice within 1 year? We noticed that many legal formalities were not carried out while planning this bridge. There was no environment impact assessment report, no feasibility report, no NOC from Asolna Panchayat. Some residents have appealed in the High Court against land acquisition process for these bridges when the matter was placed before the High Court. Advocate General informed that the matter will be open for the petitioners to raise their objection to proposed acquisition under Section 5A of the Act. The point is why PWD department is so much interested in these 3 bridges when already 3 bridges exist on Sal. Secondly, why Churchill Alemao is proposing a bridge with a road width between 15 to 45 meters, that too at Kavelosi and Asolna.
The only unfortunate part is all these 3 bridges have widened the gap between Churchill Alemao and locals in spite of bridging the gap. In Asolna, this is Laukik Shilkar for Prudent Media.
The panic in the minds of fishermen that Khariwada jetty will be shifted to Chikli is merely a gossip. MPT Secretary Madkaikar informed that after the consent of fishermen at Khariwada, the MPT officials have considered the Wade site to shift the jetty with better infrastructure.
Kottali MLA Movin Gudino has bluntly opposed the plans of MPT officials to relocate the Khariwada jetty at Chikalim.
With all the emphasis at my command, I want to say that I will never ever allow this fishing jetty to come up in Chikalim.
Our reporter in Panji Rakesh Kandolkar and in Vasco Surendra Madkaikar.
Let's take a short break. Stay tuned.